Hello ladies and gentlemen! Today I'm very proud to present a brand new hero for my Overwatch in Minecraft series. To start this video off, I want to demonstrate her abilities in the actual Overwatch map I'm making. Afterwards, I'm gonna showcase and explain how to use the downloadable data pack, which contains a slightly different version of this hero. When you select D.Va, you will find yourself inside of a gigantic mech, which took me quite some time to model. There's a walking and a sprinting animation that are played depending on your movement. In the original game, D.Va can crouch while in the mech, so I simply adjusted the height of the model so it looks like nothing changes. Let's take a look at her main weapon first, the so-called fusion cannons. As long as you right click, they will constantly fire without ever having to reload. The range is rather short, and I even added a working fall-off range. So if we try to kill this Genji up close, for example, it takes about 1 second to kill him. But if we try it from a distance, it takes a while for him to actually die. While you are shooting, you will also receive slowness and won't be able to jump, since that pretty much nullifies the slowness effect. As a secondary attack, there are the so-called micro missiles. If you press Q, a volley of explosive rockets will fly forward. I decided to not model these rockets and go for simple cubes instead, because every single block model that has to be rendered decreases the performance. Works pretty well though, and whenever they hit another player, they explode and cause a lot of damage. The next ability are the boosters. I tried to stick to a similar control scheme for all the different heroes, so the primary weapon is always activated by right click, and the other abilities are all triggered by a drop key. So once you activate your boosters, you will fly forward into whichever direction you are looking in. Whenever you pass an enemy, you will even deal a little bit of damage. If you want to cancel the flight, you can do that by pressing shift, which is really useful if you need to land at a certain point precisely. The Overwatch pros among you might be wondering where the knockback is. I consciously didn't implement it yet, because I feel like the primary use of the boosters are mobility, and applying motion to other players is actually really difficult and usually requires you to use another dummy entity. So for example, let's say a D.Va flying around gets booped by a Lucio and uppercutted by a Doomfist. How do I efficiently switch between the different dummy entities applying movement to the character? It surely is possible, but the project was enough work as it is, and I thought I'd take this shortcut. In the first version of this hero, I had a system in place that would basically teleport D.Va forward if the block in front of her was air. The problem was that you would get stuck whenever looking at the ground. I completely scrapped the old system and created a new one that is based on giving motion to an armor stand to get rid of this problem. The result is really good, and you can smoothly fly around everywhere now. This is just one example. Many of the abilities actually went through many iterations and evolved over time. That's another reason why this project has been so much effort. Moving on to Defense Matrix. If you use the drop icon, you will notice that it only appears for a really short time. If you hold down your drop key though, it stays activated as long as you have charge. After about 2 seconds it will automatically stop, and you'll have to wait for it to recharge again. While it is active, it will follow you wherever you look and absorb all incoming projectiles. This works for hitscan weapons like a D.Va from the enemy team, but also projectiles like Genji's shurikens. And most importantly, it even works for ultimates. When a player from the enemy team damages you, the health bar in the bottom left corner will gradually go down. The yellow armor doesn't have an actual effect like in the original game, because once again I have to take some shortcuts or this map will never see the light of day. When you lose all your health, you will not actually die, but enter the pilot mode. You will immediately notice that your ult recharges much quicker. The only thing you can do here is use your bunny blaster to cause a little bit of damage and get your mech back quicker. The hit detection is actually pretty accurate, I think, and I even implemented a custom hitbox system. So a D.Va mech, for example, is way easier to hit than some of the smaller heroes. After a while your ult meter will be replaced with a glowing remake logo. I didn't actually screenshot anything this time, but remade all of these textures myself in Illustrator and After Effects, and I think it looks pretty damn good. So once you now drop the icon in your inventory, you will now get your mech back and can help your team in the fight again. I even created a mechanic that saves your ult charge from the mech and gives you back the same amount again, so you don't lose all your progress after dying once. When you finally get your ultimate in mech form, a special ability called Self-Destruct will be unlocked. Dropping the icon puts you into pilot form and makes your mech explode after a couple of seconds. All the enemies in a certain radius will take 1000 damage. For comparison, D.Va as a tank has 600 health and most other heroes only have 200, so this will kill pretty much everyone. There is something you can do to actually save yourself though. The bomb will actually only affect you if you are in line of sight. I made a special system that can check if any blocks are between you and the exploding mech. Here you can see the rays responsible for this test, visualized as lines of smoke. After using your ult, you will immediately get access to your remake ability again. Just be careful because you only have 150 health in pilot form. There are a couple of special ways to use your ult in Overwatch. When pressing Q while flying around with your boosters, the mech will keep its current velocity and fly forward. This can be used to launch the bomb onto the point, for example. In some cases it can also be useful to send it forward only a little bit, so when flying into the ground instead of up, the exploding mech will move forward slowly depending on the angle you chose. Now that you've seen the map version, let's take a look at the one you can actually download. Like in my previous Overwatch commands, you need to start off by dropping a nether star onto an end crystal to create a hero changing platform. Now simply drop a diamond onto the ground and you will transform into D.Va. The controls are the same as in the actual map, but you will notice that there's no custom health bar anymore. I used extremely precise damage calculations and completely deactivated the normal Minecraft health, so it wouldn't have made a lot of sense to keep it in this version, I think. The fusion cannons and micro missiles work exactly the same, but don't have fall off range and only work on mobs. Dealing precise damage in Minecraft is a big pain, and I wanted to focus more on the actual map. I see this more as a demo version for what you can expect. Boost does work just as you would think too, but the defense matrix has some slight changes. It obviously can't absorb projectiles from other heroes, so I made it eat arrows instead. That way you can protect yourself against skeletons. The ultimate does no longer have a line of sight detection and just insta-kills mobs in a certain radius. The bunny blaster once again works the same, just not on other players. If you have enough of playing D.Va, just return to the platform, drop a piece of coal on the ground and you will become human again. I was hesitant if I should actually really go for D.Va out of all the other heroes, because the two forms made it almost twice as much work, and since this was the first hero in the second generation, I still had to set up a lot of the systems and was figuring out how to do some of the tech and how I should implement everything. Generally I used all the stats from the original game, but in some cases I adapted the mechanics a bit. The fusion cannons, for example, have a constant fire rate and actually launch multiple tiny pellets, so I could have summoned a couple of area effect clowns every single tick, but instead I now summon only 4 entities a second that in turn deal more damage. Performance wise this is just a million times more efficient, and I want the map to actually run smoothly in the future. So don't be sad if I don't add these heroes with 100% precision. I'm always thinking long and hard about how to create some of these mechanics, and there's a good reason behind most of my decisions. And that's about it for today's video. As always, the download link can be found in the description in case you want to try it out for yourself. Apart from the 2 new unreleased heroes, it's still open who I'm gonna work on next, so if you have a specific wish, just leave a comment down below so I can get a general idea what you guys want. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.